Guys, listen up. So, look, we gotta break down Chet Holmgren real quick today as Kendrick Perkins dropped his thoughts on First Take. A lot of other people have been saying the exact same thing. You know, how do you even move off this guy right now, and how do you go out and land a Giannis-type move? Evan Mobley is another name they've been throwing around. Although Evan Mobley, had his own struggles in the playoffs against the Knicks, one would expect his output versus Wemby would have been at least slightly better than Chet Holmgren. He's at least not scared in those matchups, but it really feels like Chet in that moment against Wemby, he wanted absolutely no part of it. Didn't know how to go at him, didn't even know how to make an impact while he was on the floor. A couple, loose possessions and turnovers and things like that, but honestly, he was nowhere to be found in the series when they needed him most, when J-Dub was out, AJ Mitchell was out. Need Chad, my $239 million man or $259 million man, whichever the number is, to step up and give some kind of confidence to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and it just never came. Now, we're going to dive into Perk's comments first because Austin Rivers did respond.
Look, Stephen, I agree with you 1,000%. I would trade him before the draft. And again, it's not what he did, it's how he did it. Right? Again, not being aggressive in a game 7 on your home floor is one thing. Not trying to attack the basket and not trying to shoot the rock is another. But the way that you got punked, the way that they snatched your soul, and this wasn't just a Wemby thing, because I was begging for Chet to take some type of ownership and try to guard Wemby at the start of the series. Okay, I came to the conclusion that that wasn't going to happen. So what San Antonio did all series long was majority of the time Chet was guarded by a smaller guy. We got a clip that showed a video that showed, I believe it was Vassell blocking his shot in game 6 and talking a whole lot of noise to him. This is a guy that is smaller to you. We could pull up countless videos and show the times that Chet Holmgren was getting bodied and put in the basket by smaller guys. It's one thing not to show up and say, you know what, at least he went down swinging. But he didn't swing a punch.
This is a response to all the negativity and hate that Chet has gotten over the past 48 hours. It's been brutal. And I understand he played bad. We'll get to that in a second. I just saw Kendrick Perkins talking about how they need to trade Chet before the NBA draft. By the way, Perk, you're my dog. It ain't nothing personal, but this is a basketball conversation. We have to stop with the overreaction. It's just all over sports media, man. It's exhausting. One bad game, one bad series. Trade him. Yo, bro, Chet is one of the best defensive bigs we have in the NBA, especially when we talk about versatility and being able to switch 1 through 5. All right? He is dominant in his role as a supporting star to Shai. This guy's an all-star, all-NBA player, max contract guy, all-defensive team maker. What are we talking about? Now, did he play terrible versus the Spurs? Absolutely. Did he kind of get punked versus Wemby? Absolutely. Is he better than Wemby, and can we stop the comparisons? Yes, we have to stop that. He's not better than Wemby. We should stop the comparisons. But really ain't nobody better than Wemby. Wemby's better than like 99.9% of the NBA at this point, so who really cares? In terms of who's close or what's the closest thing to Wemby in terms of impact on the floor with their length, contesting the basket, being able to switch on multiple players, also having the ability to not only roll, but pick and pop, read the floor, do things, rebound, put the ball on the floor. Chet is one of the only ones that can do that, if not the only one. And y'all talking about trade him. And Kendrick's response was, well, you can't keep the show. I know the show can't remain the same as it was this year. Yo, bro, the show got them the #1 seed in the West. The show got them all the way to the conference finals. The same show got them a ring last year. A ring, Perk. You know how that feels to be a champion. Come on, man. The show didn't have Jalen Williams this year, their second best player. The show didn't have their second best playmaker, AJ Mitchell. See, a part of sports is luck. You got to be a little bit lucky. This year, they're unlucky. Last year, Halliburton goes down. They got a little bit lucky. Everybody needs a little bit of that to win. This year, didn't fold their way. So now you fold up shop and trade one of the biggest and most important defensive asset they have in the team. No, it's not Caruso. It's not Dort. It's not Casey Wallace. Those guys are dogs, by the way. I love them. But it's always centered around what is happening down in the paint with Chet, Now, he got punked by Wemby. He didn't play well. His aggression wasn't there. He folded. These are all true things. So if you want to give him a hard time about that, okay, cool. But let's stop with the nonsense of he stinks, he sucks, he's this, he's that, he's awful, he's overrated. Guys. Chet's a very good basketball player. He did not perform well in this series. Good God. Can he go back to the drawing boards and come back next year with some vengeance before we just trade off an asset that you can't replace? Man.
Look, Austin Rivers is making a solid point here. You don't want to jump the gun or overreact in situations like this. But I gotta say, Chad has basically played his way into a spot where he's not untouchable anymore. Last year, this was a straight up no. We're keeping Chet Holmgren no matter what. But the reality is, he wasn't even a real presence. And now, he's gotta flip a switch. All right, fine. You're not that go-to star guy. Got it. You need to come back next season 20 pounds heavier, maybe even 25, ready to dominate physically, block shots, control the paint, switch on defense, finish lobs, crash boards, dunk through traffic, and even stand tall against guys like Kevin Johnson when they try to bully you under the rim. Or you might be out of there. Now, I hear people talking about moving up, maybe drafting Cam Boozer since they've got the assets to play with, or even looking at Evan Mobley, while Giannis is probably off the table. I think the word is they won't even chase him because of injury concerns. Yeah, even though he'd be perfect next to Wemby, you can't risk trading for someone who's always dealing with injuries. You've got to think long-term and not just chase names, right? You want to maximize that young core instead of risking it on age. You need the biggest championship window possible from whatever you get back. Nobody's got time for Giannis missing huge parts of the season or being unavailable when it matters most. So, yeah, I get that thinking. Now, if they do keep Chet, there has to be a real plan for him to add strength and lean muscle. He's already back in the gym grinding right now. He doesn't even really get a true offseason anymore outside of recovery, but the bigger issue is effort and mindset. He has to prove he actually wants to be part of this franchise, because when you look at Jalen Williams and the rest of those guys, the conversation might be different if he was stepping up. But right now, nah, he needs to level up big time as an impact player, especially against Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs. That's the matchup where he has to show up the most. He's got to leave some kind of mark, some fingerprint, some real identity on that series, or people are going to start calling him expendable. Because this is the team that's going to be in your way year after year unless something changes. And yeah, he was part of a championship run, so maybe there's a little grace there. You just won it not too long ago, so that does matter. But still, there's going to be a tough conversation about expectations heading into next season. You can't show up light, unprepared, and not ready to battle inside. You've got to make it uncomfortable for opponents in the paint. You can't just stand around anymore, even if you're not the go-to option. You still have to reinvent your game and become someone who impacts every possession. You've got to be a motor guy now. Go after every 50-50 ball, fight for rebounds, do the dirty work like Alex Caruso does, make smart defensive reads, get timely steals, block shots at the rim, and own the paint on your side of the floor instead of letting others dominate it. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time.